Good morning, traders. Welcome to this week's ELLIOTTWAVE Forex and Cryptocurrency Market Analysis webinar. I hope you all had a great week. Last week, I showed the relationship between the fundamentals and the technicals, and you saw just how accurate the technicals are versus the fundamentals. So essentially, the news or the fundamentals will always follow the charts or the technicals. So this week we continue with that theme, and we'll be looking at a number of charts that we have been forecasting. So the structure of this webinars, and if you want to benefit from this webinars, this is what I advise you to do. So always check out the video or the previous video so that you can get an appreciation of what we are forecasting into the next week, because we'll look at how we forecasted the market in the last week and how the market played out and how we anticipate the market to play out into the following week or the next trading sessions. So that is the structure of these webinars. All right, so let's get started with this week's analysis. Before we get started, if you'd like to contact us, go to our YouTube channel, Trading Waves. It's Trading Waves on YouTube. You'll find all our videos on the channel. And if you'd like to contact us, you can go under the description of any of our videos. You will find there the link to our website, that is trading-waves.com. You'll also find the links to our social media pages, that is Twitter and Facebook. Most of this analysis that we forecast here is also available on Twitter as well as Facebook and on our website. And don't forget to check out our chart of the week on our website. That's our website. You'll find the chart of the week on the site. Don't miss the special. We are left with 14 hours before the special is over. That is the summer special. So you get 30% off the full course, as well as the advanced one-on-one and the lifetime plan. So there's the discount code there. You can you make use of that and take advantage of that 30% discount. Those are our contact details. Now let's get right into it. We'll start with how we forecasted the market last week and what we anticipate the market to play out going forward. Now, just to give you a start here and some advice when you look at the market and how we're looking at these charts. Let me just clear this up here. So some people, when they look at this, let's just get this one here. So some people, when they look at the markets and they see that the chart does not play out as they're forecasting, they just give up and let it go. So I want to show you something interesting here. If you understand, if one understand the market. So look at this forecast here. So this was a pound chief forecast from, let's just get the date right here. So look at this one. This was December 2021, 15 December, just before we closed, right? Now, how does the market play out? Let's have a look at this. So let's have a look here. So there was a chart before, and this is the chart after. Now, if you look at that, if you look at this, you'll see that the market has gone and played out like this. So if you are not aware of, you're not confident of the structure and the cycle, when the market does this, you are going to panic and give up, and you're going to let go of that setup. So that was from the 15th of December. Granted, this took too long to play out. That's because this is playing out correctively. So corrections will take longer to play out. All right, so let's get into the market and look at some of the setups. Now, this is what we actually trade. So that was the forecast, and I'm going to show you the setups that we actually trade, and those are the blue box setups. Right. So the following is actually the trade setups. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Let's have a look here. So these are the charts that our members get before the moves actually play out. So this is Audi US dollar on the 1 hour. And as you can see here, this was the forecast on Audi US dollar. We focused that this was going to make a bit of a push to the upside and it is going to drop. And how does the market play out? So let's have a look at how the market plays out. So the chart after, that's how the chart after plays out. Exactly as forecasted, and as we forecasted last week as well, the move is exactly as we forecasted it. Now, this is how we actually look at it on our website. Let's go to the website just so you can see how members get this. So I want you to see what this looks like and how we have it on the website. So these are the instruments. Let's go to the instruments. I just want you to appreciate how our members get this. So this is our website. These are all the instruments. What you see here is all the instruments that we forecast. So we were looking at AUD US dollar. So let's have a look at how AUD US dollar plays out. Let's go to AUD US dollar, the one we were looking at. So this is AUD US dollar. So this was the New York session. So what we do is we update the charts every day, twice a day. So during the London session, during the New York session, we update the chart. So this was a Thursday during New York session, and this was a Friday after, just before the London session starts. So look at the chart before, and you will see here that was Friday the 10th here at 13:20. This was the New York session on in the afternoon, and this is how it plays out during the London session. So our members get detailed analysis on this as to what the next move is going to be. All right, so that is just one, and I'm going to show you the rest here when we start with the analysis. If I can just go to another one, New Zealand. Let's have a look at New Zealand, the same thing. So let's have a look at New Zealand. Look at the New Zealand, this is the New Zealand yen. All right, so let's just have a look at New Zealand yen so you'll get an idea. We'll look at most of this when we start with the analysis. So have a look at New Zealand yen. So the forecast on New Zealand yen during New York on Thursday afternoon. So this was the forecast that this was going to start the drop. Now look what happens just before the start of the London session. The market is already moving. So the price is already moving in the forecasted direction. That is just to name about a few. We'll go through in detail on most of this shortly when we start with our market analysis. That is what I wanted you to see. So New Zealand, you'll see it's exactly the same. So we've got that one during the New York session on Thursday afternoon, forecasting that it was going to go to the blue box. Now these are actual trade setups, guys. So right in the blue box, we sell. So those are trade setups, and this is what our members get beforehand. And let's have a look at how this one plays after. So that is New Zealand US dollar. So look at how that plays out just right into the blue box, and it drops. Why does it drop from the blue box? We call it the blue box magic. There is a high probability area for the market to reverse. So we trade those areas pinpointed to the price move, to the peep. So that's how we're forecasting that. So again, just to show you what it looks like here on the website, if I go to New Zealand US dollar, let's have a look at New Zealand US dollar so you can have a look here. So our members will get it is that they will get a chart, a 1 hour chart during the New York session on the Thursday. This is what we had there. Let's have a look. So New York, that's New York. So each and every member would have seen this chart. No one would have missed this because this was the day before New York session, Thursday afternoon, showing that we're expecting the price to go into the blue box, and we know that blue box is a selling area or a buying area if price goes into that area. So what has happened? That was that during the New York session. How did we know that exactly right into the blue box? And you'll see not a peep higher, not a peep lower. Price hits the blue box and it drops, and we're expecting a continuation move from there. So that's how we're looking at the market. So let's have a look at this one here. Again, another one, I want you to look at it from the website. That is our US dollar CAD. Let's have a look here at US dollar CAD. Again, we're still just going through the US dollar pairs so you can see what the focus is here. And I'm showing you here tradable setups. Okay, as far as the forecast here, we are about 90 to 95% accurate. And as far as execution, we are about 70% accurate on the trade, on the trades. Okay, so there's a difference between forecasting. Forecasting is easy. Anybody can forecast that the market is going to go a certain direction, but as to the execution and where exactly to enter the market, that is where most traders battle. So now this is US dollar CAD. We're showing that we are around the blue box area. We expect the price to go retest the blue box and make a push to the upside. That was US dollar CAD. What happens there? Look at how that plays out. So right into the blue box as forecasted, and we push to the upside. Not a peep lower, not a peep higher than the blue box. You see that this is the magic. Then this is making a push to the upside. So that is US dollar CAD and how that is playing out. So let's have a look at the rest here. So it is important to see how this plays out. So why do I keep showing you this? Why don't I just move and say the market has played out? I want you to see and be confident that this analysis or this method is highly probable. Again, let's have a look at CAD yen. I want to look at it again from the website. Let's go look at it on the website. So I'll keep showing you this so you can have the confidence in the strategy. Because when you have the confidence in the strategy, then you can trade confidently without doubting yourself, without a roller coaster of emotions. Okay. So let's have a look here. This is CAD yen. Again, the same thing, New York. Look at how accurate this is. So this was our blue box area. We expected the price is here. Look at where the price is. Price is here. We expect price to push up here to complete that Y degree so that the price can drop. That was during the New York session. All of this I'm showing you from Thursday this past week, and Friday, the moves were playing out as follows. Look at this one here. So exactly as forecasted, pushes to the upside, right into the blue box, and we're expecting the drop. Okay, so that is how accurate the Elliott wave theory is if you understand the cycles and the sequences. And obviously you need to have a indicator to confirm your analysis, because all you are seeing here on the chart, you cannot trade with the naked eye. So Audi yen, you've already seen here. I'm going to show you on the website when we start. Pound Audi. So Pound Audi, again, another blue box trade setup. Okay, look at this one here. Blue box trade setup drops into the blue box. The expectation is that this is going to push to the upside. How does that play out? Let's have a look here. Exactly as forecasted. It trades into the blue box like magic and it pushes to the upside. And this is what we're expecting going forward. So that is Audi, Pound Audi. Now let's go right into the analysis so you can see the rest of this. And I'm going to be showing a lot of those setups from our website. Let me just clear this here. Let's have a look here. Let's clear that. All right. Let's have a look here. Right, let's go through Euro US dollar. So what did we focus last week on Euro US dollar? So Euro US dollar, I showed you this in detail, but before you start with Euro US dollar, I want you to see something very interesting here. And again, the reason why I'm encouraging you to watch the previous video and the current video, I didn't show you this setup here on the euro. Now have a look on Euro yen. I want you to have a look at Euro yen and see how powerful this is. So there is no guesswork here, it's just the strategy. I want you to see Euro yen. This is very important. So I'm going to show you Euro yen as forecasted during the week, and I want you to see what we forecasted in these videos so you can see how to benefit, or you can learn how to benefit from these videos. Now this is Euro yen. I want you to see this one here. Right, so Euro yen, what did we forecast last week? So again, guys, if you only interested to watch specific pairs, just note here we've got timestamps. So look at Euro yen. Have a look at what we forecasted last week on Euro yen and see how it played out now. See, that was last week. That was a Euro yen showing you that this was going to be the move. It was going to push to the upside and it was going to drop. How does that play out in this week? Have a look at this. Let's have a look at how Euro yen plays out this week. Now, during the New York session, we anticipated that the euro is going to make a bit of a push to the upside, exactly to the level that we expected before the drop. Last week, we said it was going to push to the upside and then it was going to drop. This is the 1 hour chart. Last week, I was showing you this on the 1 hour chart. On the video, this is the 4 hour chart. Okay, so this is the 4 hour. So we were showing that this piece is going to push to the upside around 133 and it was going to drop. How does that play out? So look at how the London session starts. It starts with a drop to the downside. So it looks like we're already starting the drop here as forecasted now. Look at this one here on the euro, exactly as forecasted, like on the 4 hour now, exactly as per the video. What did we say on the video? That this was going to push to the upside at 133. You should have seen this last week. We said it's going to push up to 133. We were here last week on the euro. We said it's going to push to the upside on 133 and it was going to drop. Why were we expecting that? Because we had a clear corrective structure here. That's why we expected the drop. Now, if you do not get that move, that means you are not really understanding what we're doing here. So this is last week. That's our video from last week. Watch that video, see how that market played out, and now understand what we are forecasting going into the next week. All right, so without further ado, now we can get right into the analysis for this week. So last week we said euro US dollar has pushed to the upside. The least that this can do, we're not expecting this to be bullish. If this is going to make a pullback, it's going to push to the upside and drop, or it can just drop from the downside. So what did we forecast here? Again, referring to our chart, our website here, and the forecast for our members. Let's have a look at what we forecasted on the euro as it was playing out. Okay, so let's have a look here. So this was New York. This was New York on Thursday. We are anticipating that the euro will start the drop. So this is the anticipation here, and this is how it is playing out. Looks like we're already starting that drop. As expected, we are making a move to the downside. What do we expect going forward? We expect the euro to continue pushing lower, as we did mention last week. Again, we're still on the US dollar pairs. Let's have a look at the DXY. It will just be the inverse of what the euro is doing. Let's have a look at the DXY. Look at how interesting this one is. So the DXY, again, during the London rather in the New York session on Thursday, we anticipated that this was going to start pushing to the upside, and we've already started making a push to the upside. As you can see, that is the DXY. We still anticipate that this is going to push to the upside. The indicators are showing us that the US dollar strength is going to resume again in the coming week. So we expect the dollar index will start pushing to the upside. From here, we should start see this one pushing to the upside. We should see the euro continue pushing to the downside. Okay, pound US dollar. Last week, we anticipated that this was just going to make a bit of a pullback. We did not get that pullback. We were here last week. We anticipated that the pound is going to give us a move like this and push to the upside. But so far, we still have that move. It is still just going sideways. Can still push around this level, make a move like this and drop, or it can just drop from here. Okay, so pound is still bearish, very likely, and as far as the indicator showing us is that pound can start the drop from here. Okay, seeing that the US dollar strength is back, we expect pound to start pulling back and start playing out the move that we anticipated last week. Now, this is US dollar CAD. We can see that the US dollar strength is back. You've seen this one during trade recaps. We're anticipating that US dollar CAD will start pushing to the upside, play out this corrective structure. You saw the blue box area during the trade recaps. You can just refer to that. We expect that as well. Now, this is US dollar CHF. All right, US dollar CHF with structurally, it looks like it's pushing to the downside, but with the US dollar strength coming to the market, we expect this one to slightly push to the upside to around this level. If it's going to push to the downside, this will be the corrective structure, and it can only push down from that level. So that is US dollar CHF and what we're anticipating there. AUD US dollar, I cannot show you this one enough. You have seen already what we forecasted last week and how this played out. So we were here last week, forecasted that it's going to push to the upside and come to this level. We're anticipating continuation to the downside, and that is the anticipation for this week as well. If we just go to the 1 hour, so to the 1 hour, this is bearish. Okay, whether this comes here, pushes back, we are still anticipating that this is going to play out this bigger corrective structure. So AUD US dollar is still bearish. So is New Zealand US dollar, still bearish. I'm going to go to the 4 hour. It's easier for you to see the structure clearly on the 4 hour. Right, so New Zealand, again, is the same thing. We expected this one to play into the blue boxes I've shown you during trade recaps, 1, 2, 3, and then expecting this one to drop. And that is how that one has played out. We are still bearish, so any continuation move to the downside, look to take this to the downside, at least back to this level. All right, so that is New Zealand. US dollar ZAR usually tracks US dollar CAD. Now, with the US dollar CAD resuming a move to the upside, I'm going to expect US dollar ZAR to push back up around 1580 to around this level to make up this structure. So we'll make a decision whether this is going to give us one leg to the downside before pushing to the upside, or if this move is complete. But for now, this is the expected move for the next week as far as US dollar ZAR is concerned. Right, pound yen, again, let's refer this back to the website here so you can see our forecast here. So the yen pairs on pound yen, what did we forecast here last week? We were looking for this one to make a reversal. Let's have a look at pound yen. Right, New York. This is what we focused on New York on Thursday. This is where we're expecting this one to continue pushing to the upside. And during London, the continuation to the upside. So we've got a bit of a pullback here. We're still anticipating that this is going to push to the upside. So New York, we're expecting that this one was going to continue pushing to the upside, but instead we have gotten a pullback from around that level. So we're going to still anticipate that that move plays out, because even if we're getting that pullback, does not mean that the analysis is wrong. It just means that we are getting a pullback. All right, so that is pound yen. So that is pound yen. And then we look at US dollar yen. Let's have a look at US dollar yen. US dollar yen, we were still bullish from last week. You can refer to last week as well. Let's have a look at the yen pairs. US dollar yen. So US dollar yen, let's have a look at this one here. Last week, we expected this one to push slightly higher. I actually wanted this one to continue pushing to the upside, but it looks like the structure is changing, and this is playing out as a complex B correction here with the running flat in the middle, 1, 2, 3. This is what we're getting here on US dollar yen. So this could push to the downside here, and the structure may change slightly. So far we've got this corrective structure. It's going sideways. This is the running flat. Let's have a look at this one here. So let's have a look first. This is a running flat here. Now, if that is a running flat and this is playing out as follows, we could be getting a WXY corrective structure here, with that being the W, the red degree here, this being the X, and we anticipate that we're going to have another 3-wave structure, whichever way it plays out before we get a move to the upside. That will be our Y here, and we expect a move to the upside if this is going to continue to the downside. So that's what we're looking at here on US dollar yen. Euro yen, I've already shown you this one in detail and what the anticipation was on this. So the forecast from last week, and what we're anticipating, this is just continuation from last week. We're expecting that this will continue to the downside. Now, this chart, when I plotted this last week, it's exactly as it has played out. Okay, it's like magic, isn't it? This is last week, and this is this week, exactly inch perfect how this is playing out. That is the power of the wave analysis. Right, so Chief Yen last week, if you can just refer to that last week, I'd like you to refer to this because you get a step-by-step understanding of how we're forecasting the market, how it plays out, and how we are expecting the next move. So last week we were here, and I was expecting this one to play out like that, to continue to the downside, and I'll show you how the structure has played out. So this was the expectation if we look at the last week video last week. But what has changed from between last week and how this has played out? Nothing much. What has happened is that instead of this dropping here, it has actually just gone and made a double. It does not change the structure. It is still the same structure. Instead of a running flat, we now have a regular flat. So that is the structure that we have on the Chief Yen. Nothing has changed whatsoever. We still anticipate this to the downside. If you remember last week, this is the only one that we are expected to start dropping before the rest. So for the rest, we anticipated that it was going to make a push to the upside and downside. But this one also does what the rest have done, pushes to the upside and then downside. Okay, so no difference whatsoever on Chief Yen, and it's playing inch perfect. Now, this is AUD Yen. AUD Yen, you've seen this one during the recaps, so that this was the blue box, and we're anticipating that to drop 1, 2, 3. What is the expectation into the next week? Do not just go and sell this. You don't sell a straight line, guys. You don't sell an impulse like that. We're selling the corrective structures. If you're selling only here, you're already late. We were selling here from the blue box as follows. So if you sell only looking to sell now, you're already late. So you should have sold already around this level. AUD Yen, let's go and look at it again. AUD Yen, look at that blue box. Right, let's have a look here. AUD Yen, look at that blue box. Now, this is what I'm saying. If you are only looking to sell now, you are already late. The price is already here. We've already dropped a couple of 100 pips, okay? What we anticipate was for this to push into the blue box and then the drop. So we anticipate the market. We do not chase. If you are selling now, you are chasing the market because it's already gone. Okay, so that's not how we trade. We are anticipating the move to continue to the downside only if it gives you another opportunity, but that opportunity is not going to be as highly probable as this one, and the likelihood of this one playing out will be less than this one playing out from the blue box, because we trade mainly from the blue box areas. That was Audi. Again, in New Zealand, the same thing. Let's have a look at New Zealand as well. If you're only looking to sell New Zealand yen now, you are already late. You should have sold it before the move played out. Okay, so this is New Zealand. We anticipated that this is going to push up to the blue box and a drop. How did we know that? So let's have a look here. New Zealand yen, New York session, anticipated that this was going to drop from the blue box. This is the blue box area. We anticipated right there. That was going to be the start of the move to the downside. And then this is how it has dropped. As you can see, New Zealand yen, what do we anticipate going forward? Simply that this is going to give us a pullback. It does not have to happen here. This can continue in at the start of the session and just drop, but give us a pullback. So you only look to enter during the pullback. If you are looking to chase it now, you are too late and you're going to lose money, because from here you can start correcting and you don't know if it's going to make a double and continue to the downside. So this is a high probable area to take the trade. CAD yen, you've seen this one as well, how we focused that this was going to come around this level, play out inch perfect. This is my favorite kind of trade, when it plays out like this with a WXY corrective structure like that, and we've got an impulsive move to the downside. Now, again, if you're looking to only sell now, you're already late. Look for an opportunity to enter, and we have already sold from the blue box. So that is CAD yen. Gold and silver. Let's have a look at silver and gold. So silver and gold have changed the structure slightly. So last week we anticipated that we had this forecast 2 weeks back. We anticipated that this was going to push to the upside and the drop, and it's going to consolidate and continue lower. As you can see, we did not get this move. What has changed in the structure? So this is what we see. It is actually making a bigger corrective structure, and this is how the structure is developing. So it's important to understand how the structure is developing now. So you see that we've got an expanding flat here. This is still a move. This is still a move. It is just making a bigger corrective structure. Now, if it's making this bigger corrective structure, this may have an implication on the whole structure here as follows. So we could have a structure like this. We could have this one giving us another 3 waves, the same way we had these 3 waves here. So let's see how this plays out. So now, if I had to go into more detail and focus long term, you could have this one doing this, you can have this one doing this, and you can have this one here, you can have this one here. But I'm not going to go into that much detail for now. So let's just watch gold come around this level. If we get a drop, we know that it is only simply playing out this area here. So that is gold. Anticipate a bit of a push to the upside, but then we're still expecting the drop, especially with the US dollar strength still evident. We expect gold to push slightly higher and continue lower. So we are not yet bullish on gold. Last week on silver, we anticipated that this was going to push around here and then the drop. As you can see, we are still pushing to the upside. This could be the structure. We could still have this one as a 3-wave structure before the drop. Slight push to the upside, and then the drop on silver. Platinum, we're still anticipating the drop from current levels. We focused on the blue box here last week on platinum with 1, 2, 3. We're still anticipating that this is going to continue the drop here with this ABC move here, ABC corrective structure here, and looking for this to drop to the downside. That is platinum. Brent crude oil, there's nothing as straightforward as Brent crude oil. You have to see this from the weekly chart as to what we're anticipating here. This is a clear 5-wave structure on Brent crude. 1, 2, 3, running flat there. And then we're looking now for the 5. If there's going to be any pullback, it's just going to be that, a pullback and continuation to the upside. So let's see how this plays out. So there's another option here. If this is going to drop, the other option is that this has played out an expanding flat, and we can start seeing oil make that drop. So if that is the case, this is the structure that we'll be looking at here, and we anticipate another 3-wave structure here as far as oil is concerned. But for now, we're not too worried about this. We want to see what happens around this area. Are we going to get a bigger drop here? So either way, we'll be watching for a reversal around this area for a correction or to build up the bigger structure. This is on the weekly chart, but as far as the lower degree is concerned, there is no sign of a reversal as yet. Oil is still looking upside, but if you look at, let's have a look here at the RSI, there's some divergence that is not yet confirmed between this here Actually, there is no divergence. There's actually no divergence. So that means that this will still continue to the upside. Not even at current levels, not even here, there's no divergence. But that divergence is not something that we trade without the wave count. So as far as the wave count is concerned, this looks like a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're still going to get a 5 here for that last wave 5 in the weekly. Right, Pound Audi, you've seen this one during trade recaps as well. Now, Pound Audi looks to have made this one here, a 1, 2, 3 blue box. We bought this one from the blue box at around 187, 188. We anticipate that Pound Audi is going to continue to push to the upside. Okay, so that is Pound Audi. You cannot expect Pound Audi to push upside and not expect Pound New Zealand to push to the upside. We're anticipating the Pound New Zealand to also push to the upside. And the reason for that is this one here. Let's go daily. Is because we're anticipating this structure. This is the structure that we're anticipating here on the New Zealand for this one to stay push to the upside around 210. Then we'll expect this one to drop. But otherwise, one more push to the upside, and then we'll be expecting the drop. That is Pound New Zealand, Pound CAD. Pound CAD is still a bit tricky. Let's see how this is going to play out in the next couple of weeks. But the structure is as follows. We're going to have a continuation push to the upside before the drop. That is Pound Audi. For now, look at this structure. I'm on the daily here, so this move is not small. From 172.50 to 750 is about 250 pips. So if you get an opportunity here, you can still trade this to around this level. That is Pound CAD. Pound Chief. Pound Chief, you've already seen this one during trade recaps. We're still anticipating that this can even get to this level. Or if it doesn't get in one wave here, we can get one move to the downside and a push to the upside. So from the 15th of September, we've been anticipating this move. It is a corrective move. That's why it's taking so long, almost 2 months just to make this move. That's because it's a correction. You expect the correction to play out exactly like that. Now, this is Euro Pound. I want you to see Euro Pound here on the side. So let's have a look here on the euros. Euro Pound. Now, these are short-term analysis. I'm not even showing you the 4-hour forecast, the daily forecast that are worth hundreds and hundreds of pips. I'm only showing you the last week's forecast on this pair. So this was New York on Thursday, as far as Euro Pound is concerned. 1, 2, 3 up there. What was the anticipation? It was an ABC corrective structure. We anticipated that this was going to drop. How does that play out? Just before the London session opens, look at that. We already have the drop now. How can you not be a profitable trader with all that analysis done for you and ready all the time? So that is a Euro Pound. Okay, let's have a look at the rest. EURCAD. Let's have a look at EURCAD. EURCAD may push slightly higher because of Pound CAD, but if you look at this here, we can see that we've got this structure that should continue to push to the downside. We may push slightly to the upside, but essentially we are going to play out this structure here on EURCAD, EURCHF. Now EURCHF, let's have a look here. A clear 1, 2, 3 wave here. I think last week we mentioned that this was exactly what's going to happen here on EURCHF. You can just refer to the last week's video and check how this is played out. Audi New Zealand. Now, Audi New Zealand, very likely on Audi New Zealand that this structure is going to play out and drop from current levels like this. Okay, with the Audi being weak, this is very likely the structure that could play out. If we start pushing to the upside, that's going to change the structure to play out as follows. 1, 2, 3. We just need to invalidate upside and confirm downside to confirm that that is not going to happen. But the one that is likely to happen is this one. So whichever one confirms first, you're not going to miss either. You're going to get it beforehand. You're going to get the confirmation beforehand. But I'm going with this one. This is a likely one to happen. So I'll be tracking and monitoring this in the coming week. AUDCAD, and as for the rest of the cross pairs, it is all bearish, guys. It's just simple 3-wave structures. Look at this one on the daily 1, 2, 3. We're looking for downside. Let's go to the 4-hour. These are all going to drop. Okay, we've been bearish on all of these for the last couple of weeks. 1, 2, 3. Textbook. If you look at this one here, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, nothing forced, 1, 2, 3. Now that's a textbook WXY corrective structure. What do you expect here? You expect continuation to the downside. And that is the structure on all the cross pairs. Look at this one here. Now this is AUDCHF, let's use the yellow here again. AUDCHF 1, 2, 3. Now that is the drop. Expect this one to continue with the drop. Okay. This one moves quite a bit slower, so I don't really like trading AUDCHF because it's so slow. Now New Zealand CAD, again, the same thing. 1, 2, 3. Expect the drop on New Zealand CAD to play out this WXY corrective structure there. Look for this to continue lower into the next week. New Zealand CHF, again, the same. So you can see structures straightforward. Nothing is as simple as trading the crosses over the last couple of weeks or months. They have been bearish, and it has just been simply like that to trade to the downside. So that is our New Zealand CHF, looking for more downside. CADJPY, the same. We're expecting that CADJPY will have this one as a three-way structure. We're going to see more downside. That's that on the Forex pairs and the commodities. Now let's go into the indices. The indices, we've been saying that the indices are going to make a reversal to the downside. I see somebody made a comment that the indices have made a push to the upside. That's normal. That's normal. There's a comment on the last week's video that the indices, we focus on the indices to drop, but they've made a move to the upside. That's absolutely normal. The market does not move in a straight line. 1, 2, 3 to the upside, 1, 2, we anticipate 1, 2, 3 to the downside, or even 5 this side. So let's see how this drops. So if that is a 5, that means we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, 1, 2, 3 back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 this side here. Then you get a nice ABC corrective structure, but the move is bearish. We're still anticipating a bearish move into the next week. Okay, so that's what I was saying. I gave an example with pound CHF that even if you get deeper pullbacks, it does not mean that the structure has changed. Look at this. You get a deeper pullback here in 3 waves, but the move is still downside. We are still bearish as far as Dow Jones Industrial is concerned. Yes, last week I even gave an example why the Dow Jones, actually I've been giving this example for the past 3 weeks. This Dow Jones transportation, let's put in industrial here and compare it with transportation. So let's have a look here. The chart with the candles is the Dow Jones Industrial. Let's compare it again. I'm just referring this again because we've already done it. And for the benefit of those that have not seen that video, let's do the comparison and show you why we anticipated the indices to start the reversal. We've seen this before, okay? So this is now the Dow Jones Industrial Transportation versus the industrial average, okay? So let's have a look here. So if you look at what is happening here, especially here, the Dow Jones Industrial goes and makes a new high, but the transportation makes a low. So that is a clear indicator. And now this is not relative strength index. That is the difference. When you guys use the divergence on the RSI, you are looking at a momentum oscillator, or a momentum index. Now, this is relative strength between the two averages. That is a completely different indicator altogether. Now, this is a leading indicator, unlike this momentum indicator, which is lagging. So you are able to see ahead of time when the structure is going to change. Now, this one was still making a push to the upside, the industrial. Now, you know, because this is already making the drop and this is already only getting to this level, you will know that this trend is going to reverse because they are not confirming each other, they are diverting. And I've given an example that we have seen this before in 2020 January, when this, just before the start of the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic. Look at this one here. What happens to the industrial average? Again, it does the same thing that it does here. It makes a new high, but what happens to the industrial transportation average? The transportation average is already dropping now. This is already telling you that as much as this is pushing to the upside, you are going to get this big drop. And that's how we focused that drop in 2020. And that's how we're focusing the drop, even if it is not a complete crash or a drop, even if it is just a bigger corrective structure. So that is fine. But the point is that this will give you an indication beforehand. Okay, so that is the industrial average and the transportation. NASDAQ, we expect that the NASDAQ was already bearish, so we expect this to continue with the bearish move. So that is a move to the downside. We've got this one dropping here. We've got a pullback here. We're still expecting the NASDAQ to continue lower. If this is going to give us a WXYXZ structure, that's fine. Otherwise, this could be a 5-wave move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we get a deeper pullback and then a drop again. So that is what we're looking at on the NASDAQ. So even if we drop, we're going to get a deeper pullback. Right, the UK 100, we were looking for this one to possibly make a diagonal to the upside. Okay, so there's not a clear divergence as far as the indicator is concerned here. So we're looking at this one pushing to the upside. So will this continue to push to the upside and then we get the drop? There's a very likely possibility that this is just going to push to the upside and we're going to get the pullback there. The DAX is still around this area. So the DAX can also just push around this level and continue to this level here. So that's what we're anticipating. We're looking at this bigger corrective structure here on the DAX. 1, 2, 3. If it's going to push to the upside, that just means it's going to be a double correction before we get a move to the upside. Not clear at this stage. We'll just leave the DAX as it is. Now, this is the Nikkei. Now, the Nikkei, will it play out? Remember the structure we'll be looking at in the Nikkei for the last couple of months. This structure has been building up from the beginning of 2021, as you can see, and we've been looking for this one to do this, to do that, and then a push to the upside. Is this time for this to start pushing to the upside? As it is now, this is not confirmed and we can still get one more down here. Indicator is showing us that we can still get one more down before we push to the upside. And the structure here is that you've got 1, 2, 3, you've got 1, 2, 3, you've got 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we can still push lower and it will still be a valid structure and it will still be a WXY structure here on the Nikkei, but maybe just not on this move. We can get one more down here first before the drop. So let's see how that plays out. And lastly, on the Nifty is still bearish. You've got a move to the downside here, 1, 2. We can still get the Nifty coming down around this level and giving us this corrective structure before resumption of the move to the upside. And that's that on the Forex pairs and the indices as well as commodities. If you like what we do, guys, please give us a thumbs up, drop us a comment, and give us some input. We appreciate your feedback. Also, if you've not yet subscribed to the channel, please do so. And also hit the bell notification button so you get an alert the next time we upload a video. Have a great week, guys. See you next week. Cheers. Bye-bye.